Hello guys, welcome to this video. In our previous video, we learned how to write the HTML structure that determines how a web page will look like. So this is what we are able to achieve on our last lesson. We are able to put our first page by first of all declaring the HTML with top type, that is HTML5, with opening and closing tag of HTML followed with the head. That's what we are able to achieve, which the output is this. Yeah. So in this lesson, we are going to learn how to put the using H1 to put the cake recipe and how to add some images and links that will link to other web page in our website. That's what we are going to achieve today. We are going to add some colors and some styles with CSS. That's what we are going to achieve today. So guys, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media handles so that you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded. So now we're going to learn what is CSS. Yeah. So to make your website look good, to structure it so that you can add some styles and it will look good and have some nice features. That's what CSS is all about. CSS is for styling. So let's open a new file. You can call it main.css. That's the extension .css. So we have successfully opened it. Now CSS have very rules which you must apply before it will work. First of all, you have to link your CSS file, your HTML file. Without doing that, if you write millions of styles in your CSS, it will not work on your front web page because you have not linked it to HTML file. The place you can link your HTML CSS is at the head. First of all, we have internal and external style, of which I will talk about that later. So for us to link our CSS file now, we're going to use the link, don't forget. Then we're going to put the direction, the directory. That's what we're going to put here. Then remember, don't forget that if you have your CSS folder, first of all, you have to call the folder's name before the file's name. But now I don't have any folder called CSS. You get that's why I call the file's name that so it's going to work. So CSS, first of all, is made up of selector and a semicolon separated list of declaration with each of these declaration being made up of property and value pair. This is all this is what I mean. For example, you have your selector, this is your selector. Then you have the semicolon. Then you have your the property, which is, let me say, color. Then the value, the value. You can say red. The color should be red. Yeah. This is what it's all about. We have our body, we have our body, then we have our the semicolon, the color, and the red actually, because the body is the selector, the color is the property, while the red is the value. Have you seen it? Yeah. So selector simply refer to the HTML element which CSS rule apply. You get? That's what selector is all about. You grab? Yeah. So as you can see, so selectors simply refer to HTML element to which is this body. It's an HTML element to which CSS rules are applied. They are what is actually being selected for each rule. Yeah. For example, if we come in this our HTML file, this body now has been selected. So if we go to our browser, we see that okay, have you see I've refreshed my browser and then all the colors here now have changed. Yeah, that's to show you have selected the selector which is this body. So it will apply to all this text. It will have it will change the color of those text. So let's go to more about CSS. Then we have universal selector. This is our universal selector. Let me comment on this. Then this is our universal selector. So universal selector we select element of any type, hence the universal, and syntax for it is simple. The syntax for the universal selector is asterisk. So let me show you the example below. The universal selector we select we change the universal selector deals with all the text, everything in our web page in our HTML file. That's what universal selector will the style we give in universal selector will be applied to. For example, this is the asterisk, then I'm going to put my semicolon, then let me say the color. The color should be red, then the background color. The background color should be, let me say something like black, for example. So let's go and see what we have. So let me refresh this. Have you seen it? That's what universal selector does. It select all while the body and while for example I say something that universal and selectors they are not the same. Okay, they are not the same. Just it's for you to understand the difference of each of them. So now we are going to write some CSS for code. Before that, after the universal selector, we have type selectors. Okay, yeah, we have type selectors. We have type selectors, but let me just quickly show you some examples. Okay, so let me comment on this. So type selector will select all elements of given type, and the syntax is just the name of the element. Yeah, the syntax is just the name of the element. Okay, so for example, if I go to if let me just use this for example of type selector. Yes, let me use it and do the type. Let's see war where I have for example like this. If I come here, I can say I can say um let me say div. Yeah, let me say div for example. Then I say hello world. Hello world. Yeah. Sorry. Say hello world. So let me copy this hello world. Let me just copy it and paste here. Then let me have another thing like paragraph. I say that could be is we is a bird. Then let me go to my CSS and start this div. You see what we mean by type selector. So I will say div semicolon, then let me say color should be white, then the background should be black, background color will be black. So let's see what we have on our browser. Let's refresh it. Okay, as you can see, you see hello world is white, then the background color of black, while Obi is a boy, does not have anything. So it will not select paragraph because paragraph is not selected. The type selector will only select the name of the element. It will select the element, all the element of the given element type and the syntax, just the name of the element. You just select that. That's all about types selector. So let's quickly look at, but let me give you this short note on this. Here, all three div elements will be selected. For example, we are having only all two div elements, which is this. It will be selected. Yes. Why the p element will not be? That's what I was explaining before. A div is one of the basic HTML elements. It's simply an empty container in general. You have to know that. It's simply an empty container, like I said. It's the best to use other such as H1 or P for content. Yes, for content, you can use H1P in your project. But as we learn more about CSS, you find that there are many cases where the things you need is just a container for other elements. Many of our exercises will be plain div simplicate. So you have to know that the difference between the div and other HTML element selectors that you'll be selecting. Then we have class. Yes, you have class. You select all elements with a given class. Yes, you put the name of your class in a div. It select all of the elements. And we have ID. We have class, we have ID, we have class, and we have ID. The ID selector are similar to class selector. They are select element with given ID, which is another attribute. You place an HTML element. The major difference between classes and ID is that an element can only have one ID. That is the difference. Element can have only one ID. It cannot be repeated on a single page and should not contain any white space. You grab. That is the difference between ID and classes. Then let me show you the difference on the code, how to know your classes and how to know your ID. For example, this is your class. You call class like this. This is your class. Yes, you can call it, for example, you can say, you can name your class anything. I can call it main, for example. So anything I style here, if I want to style this hello world, I will go to my CSS. Then before you start, before you write the selector of the HTML element, you have to put dot first for classes. Then I put main. Don't forget to type correctly, because if there's any mistake, if you miss any single letter with what you are having in your HTML file, it can never go. That's the truth about it. So let me say color should be red. Sorry, color 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 should be red. Yes, the color is red. So if you go to our web page, you see that something will change. Let's refresh it. Have you see? Have you seen now? The color of this hello world have changed, which we give a particular class. So for ID, this is for ID. Now if you come here, then you do ID, this for ID. You can say, let's say for example, I'm just giving an example. Then if I come here, for you to like the selector, first of all, you have to put the ash. You get, that's for ID. Then you write the correct spelling. Then I can say green. And so the color should be green. The color should be green. So let's look, see what we have. Let's refresh it and see it has changed. Yeah. So this for your IDs and class selector. For ID, instead of a period, we use an action immediately followed by the case stative value of the attribute. That's what I said. We use the hash. So we have many other examples, but this is what I'll be showing for now. That's HTML basic. We have many other things on our HTML. So let's style our website. Let's achieve what we're supposed to do in this video. So let me do away with all this. Yes. Then I'm going to get a new HTML file, call it cake dot HTML, which is the extension. Yes. So I'm going to copy all of this and paste here. Then I'm going to do away with all of this. So I'm going to do away with all of this. So yeah, let me say we are going to do with cake. Yeah, going to do with cake. Let's say we are going to work on cake recipe. That's what we are going to do. Cake recipe. Okay. Okay, but it's not a must you can call it a cake recipe. Anything. Just let me do something simple so that you understand what I'm saying. Let me say let me put it on H1. I'm using H1. How to 2, 3, 10. Yeah, I'm using it. So now I'm going to do away with all this. I'm going to remove this. So, so this is how to prepare cake. So let's open this on our browser. Let's see what we have. Yeah, so this is what we have. So if we click on the link, the page is empty. How to prepare cake. So this is what we are going to work on now. Let's quickly do that first. So we are going to have H1, then on the H1 we are going to have cake recipe. Yes, cake recipe. Then we're going to add the image. Thought on how to link your image. I say that in our first video. So if you are starting with this second video, go back to our first video to know more on how to link your images. So after that, I'm going to use H1 to put the description. That's what I'm going to do. I want to put the description. So this is the description. So after this description, I'm going to use paragraph. I'm going to use paragraph to write something about the description. A good quality cake, a good quality cake. We have a soft, without weakness. So this for our description. So after the description, don't forget we are working on to achieve something. So after the description, I'm going to put the ingredients using the unordered list. Unordered, then I'm going to use the step with ordered list. Then I'm going to add some CSS styling to it. So that's what we are going to achieve. So I'm going using H1, going to put the ingredients. Ingredients. This for the ingredients. Then I'm going to use, remember, on order, that's what I say, on ordered list. Then I'm going to say flour. Then I'm going to say egg. I'm not going to list all example. I'm just doing this for teaching sake. Then I'm going to add another one, which is water. Before adding the butter, I'm going to put yes, yes, or butter. Then after that, I'm going to add the steps using the ordered list. That's what I'm going to do. Steps using ordered list. So I'm going to say the pan, then cream, the butter and sugar. After that, then I'm going to say add butter to pan. This is for example's sake, so you can choose any recipe you want to. It's not a must you will do exactly thing I did, but you can choose different items to achieve the same thing. So yeah, so let's go to our web browser to see what we have so far. So if we refresh it, let's click on click me to see what we have. So if you click on click me, this is typical example of what we have. This is supposed to be cake recipe, but I'm using this picture. You can add make sure you add the image of what you are working on. I don't want to just want to use any image just to show you the example sake. Then I'm going to style this. Yes, I want to style this. Let me quickly add the link for CSS. Without that, it's not going to work. So I've linked my CSS. So yeah, for me to achieve that, I'm going to say H1. Let me say H1 should be the color of H1 color should be white. Then the background The background color. The background color should be, let's choose brown. Let's choose aqua. Then if we go to our browser, you see this. This is for example what you see. I don't like this color. Let me just quickly change it. You can say view, then you can say text align, say center. So you come here, you see all the H ones are the center. That's what I've gotten. So for example, let's let's start the investor before this section. Let me bring this down. Let me say that investor. Don't forget that is asterisk, then semicolon. I say color. Color should be red. Should be red. Let's see what we have. Everything. Other every element have the color apart from those ones I made put use their type. Without using the type, all these things will change. You grab, yeah. So now I'm going to change the color of this paragraph and leave the ordered and ordered list. Yes, that's what I'm going to change. Let me change the color text of paragraph. For me to achieve that, if I come here, then this for the paragraph, we say color. The color should be black. So if we go back to our web browser, you see that the color of the paragraph has changed. So guys, I want our image to take the full width of this side. So let me go to CSS and style that. I'm going to call the img no semicolon. Don't forget that. Then I'm going to set the height should be 100 VH. Why the width should be 100%. Yeah. So let's go back to see what we have. So have you seen? So guys, I hope you understand more what CSS is all about. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media handles. See you guys in the next video. We'll be talking more about the tables and forms before my colleague will take you guys to the big project or mini project on how to use HTML and CSS and JavaScript. See you guys